Hey there, Johnny Daniel, independent demonstrator with Stampin' Up. How are you? It is 7 o'clock on the dot, Wednesday night. Hopefully, cross your fingers, no technology problems tonight. So, we'll see. So for tonight, we are making a wreath card from a bunch of squares to make a circular wreath. Yes, really. So if you're on with me, please comment, say hello so you can get the instructions. You will want the instructions for this one. Yes, it can be found on YouTube, but it will be all in one place, and you will not have to look for the template over here and the card over here. So something you'll want. So hold on just a second. I'm going to flip you around. And we're going to get to creating because I've got a little bit of a bonus for you. So we got to get moving. So for tonight, let me refresh and get everything up so I can see the comments. I don't even know what that meant. Anyways, but for tonight, we are going to be doing this card. And then, oh, for heaven's sakes, this is, see, I spoke too soon. It's not cooperating now. Hold on a second. I'll be back in a second. But, let's see here. So if you hang with me tonight and comment and do what you need to do, here's what I'm going to do. At the end of this video, after I do the card, I'm actually going to create the template as well, so you know exactly how to do all of it. Okay? So, first things first, this is using the brand new stamp set called Eden's Garden. Okay. Eden's Garden is going to be going live for you first week of November. Okay. This is the stamp set here. It says, "Dear friend, how are you? My heart is tied to yours. Tug if you need anything. Hello there. Let's celebrate everything." That's the one I like. Sending hugs. So this is the new Eden's Garden set. It has dies and paper that goes with it, as well as gems. I haven't gotten the gems yet. No, you're not late. You're right on time, honey. Hey, Lise, how are you? Hey, Stream. You guys are perfect. So Eden's Garden is a brand new set. I am going to be doing a full look at it next week. Okay. Because honestly, there's some, I think they called it cotton paper. Feels like tissue paper. And I was like, what to do with it? I actually did find a couple things to do with it. So that's going to be my focus, because honestly, beforehand, I was like, ugh, why did, other than it's part of the collection, why did I get this? So you have time to decide though, because this is a preview or a pre-order that you can do with the new mini catalog that will be starting in January. So what I would tell you to do advice-wise, this is not good sales advice, but this is what I'm going to tell you anyways. If you like it and it's on your wish list, but it's not a, oh my gosh, now because I'm busy doing Christmas cards and all that kind of stuff, wait. Why do I say that? Because January, February is celebration. And I'm going to tell everybody to wait. Okay? So there you go. All right. So that is first things first. So tonight we are going to be making a version of this, because you know it's got to be a tiny bit different, right? Oh boy, new stuff, right? If there's one thing you got to learn with Stampin' Up, if you don't like it for this minute, wait till the next one, because there's always something new coming out. So this is the Eden's Garden set, and we're going to be doing this wreath is the main thing I want you to focus on. And then if you can hang with me through the card and doing the wreath with the Stamparatus, then I'm going to show you how to do the template to do this, and you'll be off to the races and ready to go. So here we go. Ready? So on my table, I have the faux suede trim. Honestly, you just need stuff to match your mat and your designer series paper, right? Okay, so if you want to do red, do red. If you want to do brown, do brown. You know, it's really up to you. Hey, Iris, how are you, hun? Okay, so just make sure it all matches. And I don't think I cut this. Oh, okay. So on my table, I have thick, very vanilla. I usually do white, I know, but thick, very vanilla card base cut at 4 1/4 by 11, scored at 5 1/2. And then I have a piece of vanilla. Are you ready for this? That I have to cut still, right? Okay, so there we go. No, I haven't trimmed anything. Then I have a full piece of just white. That's not going to be for anything on the card. This is for the template after. So remind me so I don't get going and then you know how this goes. Okay, this is my Stamparatus with the magic template. But first I got to get stuff cut, right? Oh, and the metallic brushed adhesive back dots that are of course on back order right now. We're not going there, are we? So on my table tonight, I have early espresso, Cajun craze, Sahara sand, pumpkin pie. Originally, I had crumb cake instead of Sahara sand, but it was too dark. You'll understand, I promise. So there we go. So let's get some trimming and going done. And hopefully I can remember all these measurements, right? So first things first, I gotta take the sweater off. Sorry. Oh. I love fall, but it's like right in between, right? Okay, so, all right, so now, if I remember right, let's go top to bottom, or let's go bottom to top, okay? So this one's going to be 3 3/4 by 5. Okay, this is part of the Blackberry Beauty. Yes, it's on back order. November 8th, I believe, is when it's predicted to come back in. So there you go. Okay, then I've got a piece of early espresso that's not on back order. Yay! So we're gonna do this at 3 1/4 by, well, if it's an inch in, right? 5 1/2 goes to 4 1/2. Hey, Linda, yes, it is definitely colorful Colorado. I saw your pictures of the fall. Oh my gosh, gorgeous. So, how are you, hun? So, now I'm gonna do a square that's 3 by 3. Why am I doing a square that's 3 by 3? Can you guys figure it out? Well, I'll tell you anyways. It's good to see you, Linda. So the reason I'm doing 3 by 3 is it's because it's that size of the hole in my template. Okay, so I believe this was 3 by, honestly, I'm just gonna find my words and measure. Yes, I know, old school measure, right? Okay, so 3 by 1 is what I'm gonna say. So 3 by 1. Okay, so there's all my pieces and parts, I do believe. I could be wrong though, as I have been in the past. All right, so what I'm gonna do, definitely message me with a question or text me, whatever. All right, so I'm folding my card base. Valley side goes out. We're gonna close those mountains in, right? Okay, so now I'm gonna grab my Stampin' Seal Plus. I'm gonna flip over my mats, and I'm not gonna have this work. There we go. I have found that as the refill goes, it gets a little tighter, a little stickier, whatever you want to say. And I tend to rip more paper as it goes down. So I don't know if you have found that to be the case, but here we are. I must be pulling or something, because normally I don't have this problem. Hey Shirley, how are you, hun? So we are making squares into circles tonight to catch you up. No, I have not lost my mind. Well, maybe a little, but you know, nothing out of the ordinary, right? Okay, so I'm gonna stamp "Dear friend, how are you?" into my 3x1. And I've been explaining, Shirley, to everybody else that if you stick with me, I am going to show you how to do the template for tonight's card at the end. Okay? So, let's see here. Are we good? Yep. And then this should fit up here. Yep. Okay. Dry fit, just to make sure. Well, hello, Miss Carol. How are you, honey? So, I've got my Stamparatus. Good to see all you guys. So, great thing with the Stamparatus, hinged plates, which translates to I can move this over as far as I want, right? Or put it over here. So this is great for if you're doing what they call chain stamping. So chain stamping is like if I had a pine bough here and I wanted it to go across my entire page, all I'd have to do is stamp here, move it over, move it over, move it over, and I wouldn't have to get my fingers all messy to get that redone. Kind of cool, right? Except I moved my mat. I'm getting there. I really am. Let me get this moved up. All right, so this template is our lucky thing that we need. Okay. So, hey Sandy, how are you, hun? So, if you guys want the measurements for the card, you'll have to go back on the replay and get it. Okay. So first and foremost, I'm going to start with my leaves. So I don't know if you've ever used Stamparatus or not, but here we go. We are positioning, I always do this backwards. We are positioning with the sticker up where you want to stamp your stamp. Now, make sure your stamp is really, really clean. Otherwise, you're going to have an image down there, right? Okay, so there we go with that. We are going to start with pumpkin pie, go to Cajun Craze, finish with Sahara Sand to fill in, and be ready to go. Okay, so I'm doing pumpkin pie now. I have to remember this is hinged, which means I need to push on this side so I don't halo too badly there. But hey, oh well. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is that I'm going to take this and turn this. Now, if you always go to the left, go to the left. If you always go to the right, go to the right. Just be consistent with whatever you do. So for me, I always go to the left. I don't know why. So what you're going to do is you're going to turn it 90 degrees and you're going to fit it back in here and you're going to ink and we're going to push. Okay? And then, guess what we're going to do? 90 degrees, ink, and push. Now the great thing about Stamparatus is if you don't have enough ink, you can go over it again. So you want a fairly light touch when you're doing this, okay? So now this is all done with pumpkin pie. Okay? I know. I'm hungry too. It's okay. So I'm going to close up my pumpkin pie. Maybe. Push on the straight side, not the notch side. Pull it all the way till it ends and then flip over. So now I'm going to grab my Cajun Craze. I always want to go lightest to darkest so I don't have to clean in between. Okay? But up to you on what you do. If you do clean in between, no baby wipes, you're going to use either the Stampin' Chamois, or you're going to take it off, put it on a block and clean it, or have really inky fingers and clean it. It's up to you on what you do. Okay, I shouldn't have inked that. I should have waited. So now what we're going to do, we have these spots in between, right? So now what you're going to do is you're going to go diamond. And we're going to rotate just like we did before. Looks like my square is not perfectly square. That's okay. You do want to be as close as you possibly can. But I'm not perfect, so there we go. Okay. So now I'm going to press in between, right? So here we go. Now I'm going to rotate 90 degrees in my diamond. Okay. I have the little arrow so I know which way is up. So I always know, even though it's a square, I know, but it's just my thing. So there's my, do you see how this is coming together? So let's see here. Now you can put the magnet down too, but I have found, because we're only stamping it once and rotating it a bunch, I just want my template to stay put. Which is why I have the magnet on my template and not anywhere else. But it's up to you on what you do. And I also have grid paper underneath in case I get wild and crazy and things go haywire. I don't get ink on. Whew, I almost did that on the square. Not good. Okay. Okay. So there's my wreath, right? Okay, now I've got this little, I don't know, wheat bushel. I don't even know what to call it, but to me it fills in quite nicely. So I'm going to take this off, flip it over, and push it onto my block. So when I'm done, I can, clean everything. Sorry, my words. Woo. Okay. All right, so I'm grabbing my Sahara sand now, popping my notch, flipping over, going, coming, and all that stuff, right? So now what I want to do, are you ready for this? I want this little wheat bushel thing to kind of be in between, right? Of course, right? So, and I need to do it sticker side up. I always do that, and I don't know why. Okay, so sticker side up, I want the end of my bushel to be in between those. So we're gonna push there, place here. If you prefer to swing it this way, swing it that way. It doesn't matter. I do like to have something underneath it though. So when I'm stamping, yeah, I just want it to just be barely, but I like to have something, like I have a scrub mat underneath when I swing it right now, so it doesn't go completely flat and then flex those hinges. So what we're gonna do now, if I could pick this up, is we're gonna flip around and do another set of 4, okay? And then you're gonna wish me luck with creating a bow, right? Okay. So we're gonna do this, and we're gonna do this, and you can do as many layers as you want. You can fill in as much as you want. Any small stamp you can do this with, or set of small stamps, I should say. So if you want, this is more fall. If you want Christmas, get pine bough stuff. If you want Easter, we used to have a really cute little tiny Easter egg set. I don't know what next year will hold. So, there you go. Okay? Let me get a sip of water real quick. You can't really see those brown ones, but I promise they're in there. Is that better if it's close up? I'm gonna see. Let's see. Is it picking it up at all? I'm trying different angles to see if maybe. So you can see there. Okay. So it's just subtle. Okay. Got it? So there we go. That's what we have for a Stamparatus. That's another use for it. For those of you that have gotten it. Let me close my Sahara Sand. Okay. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to glue these two down. If you want to do dimensionals, glue dots instead, you know the drill. Whatever you want. But this is what I've got right here. So guess what I'm doing? Okay. So pick your top. So for me, I'm like, where are most of my halos? Right here, right? So I'm like, I think I'm going to put it this way so my bow goes across and maybe right down to hide things. Gotta hide, right? So, all right, let's see here. So I'm going to grab 8 to 10 inches. Make sure your scissors are sharp. If you're local, I do have a scissor sharpener that you are welcome to on Mondays. 10:30 to 12:30, 5:30 to 7:30, right, Iris? All right, so I'm tying my bow. If you're wondering how I learned to tie a bow, well, my mama taught me, but there's also tons of YouTube videos. There's bow makers, there's bow dabbras, there's, oh my gosh. Yes, I do have a bow maker. If you want to try that out, no, it's not Stampin' Up. We do not offer anything like that. Therefore, that's why I'm telling you about it. Okay. So, what do you think? And then I'm going to pull these down a little bit and glue them. Okay, so that's the bottom of the box. I try to only open one side of the box. Why? So I only have one side that's got a loose hinge point, so I don't have the bottom and the top falling apart. Just a little something I do, okay? But I honestly don't like my roll falling out the bottom. By the end of the time that I've done stuff, it's falling apart. So I don't put my glue dot on the actual knot of my bow. I put it on either side. Why is that? Because I don't want it to stick up further, and I do too, so it doesn't pivot on me. So there's my Y. Take it or leave it. So there's my stickums, and I think I'm gonna try, we'll see, to grab here, grab my end, and maybe, just maybe, stick down a little to cover the rest of my halos. So, up to you on what you do, but I like my stuff to stay put even when it's in an envelope, which is the biggest why. Okay, so there's my card. Oh, I almost forgot the bling. Whew. Okay, so I'm using the copper out of this. Last time I used the gold. Yes, I can do it with my fingers. You can also use a snipser, take your pick tool, or anything else you need, right? So there's that. You bought a bow maker. Bow maker. Ah. I figured it was bow maker. I figured we weren't all going water skiing. Even though that would be fun. Just a little cold right now. So, all right. So, as I promised, let me get my space clear enough. Oh, and I have to ask you, while I'm getting everything situated, which one do you like better? Do you like the all brown or the one with the Cajun craze? I think it makes it look totally different, so I like both. So, but if I had to pick, if I was sending it to a female, I'd send this one. If I was sending it to a male, I'd send this one. That's just me. So there you go. Feel free to use the idea, but right now I'm going to show you how to do the template. So I'm grabbing my paper trimmer and I'm moving everything else. Brown, brown, brown. Okay, got it. All right, so ready? So you got a piece of 8.5 by 11. Now, if you didn't want to do this, you can do any size square, but the middle has to be directly in the middle of the piece. So, you know, if you're doing like a 2-inch square, then it needs to be 1 inch up. You'll understand when I get there, okay? So this is 11, so I'm going to move all my ink out of the way. I'm going to cut 4 inches off. So this side is 7, okay? Then I'm going to flip this around and I'm going to cut 1.5 inches off to make it 7-inch square, okay? Now here's the fun part. I need the cutout to be directly in the middle, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go at 2 inches and then I'm going to go at 2 inches. If it's a little bit sloppy and the cuts go over, not a problem, okay? Because we're using this as a template. We're not using this as a card. So, all right, so 2 inches and we're going to go 3 inches down, which means we're going to have 2 inches on the bottom. 2 inches, 2 inches, 2 inches, 3 inches of a square. So down to 5. Got it so far? Okay. Then we're going to rotate whichever way you want to. Doesn't matter. But you're going to go at 2 inches. And I have to, for some reason, go up to down. If you want to go the other way, you're more than welcome to. But hey. All right, so I'm starting at 2 inches and I'm going to go down to the 5 for the 3 inch, right? And I want to make sure that that connects before I move it. And I wasn't quite there. So you just want to make sure, okay? So far I have this, if you guys can see this. Then I'm going to turn it again and I'm going to go at, can you guess? 2 inches. And I'm going to go up at 2 inches. Now and I'm going to go down to 5. Okay? You're going to have a much easier time because you're going to be able to stand up and hang your head over this. Personally, it's pretty tough when you can't hang your head over. Okay? Then I'm going to rotate again and can you guess? 2 inches. I'm going to come up here and I'm going to go 2 down to 5. This is one of the few times where it's important to measure and important for your points to go all the way across. I've got one that's not quite there, but I think I can fudge a little bit. Okay? So there's my trimmer. We're done with that. Now, if you'll notice, this is a 3-inch square, right? Which is why this is a 3-inch square. Okay? Got it? All right, so now you're going to grab a pencil. You can measure if you want. Personally, I'm going to go for it. You know how this goes. No, actually, I am going to set my square inside the grids where it's whole squares only. So for instance, if I was like this and it's only half, I'm going to move it until it's full grid squares. Okay, you'll understand in a second. So now I'm going to put this as a diamond. Okay, and I'm going to count. Ready? And I'm going to go 1, 2, almost 3. 1, 2, almost 3 it's about right, right? 1, 2, almost 3, 1, 2, almost 3. That needs to go up a tiny bit. Okay, 1, 2, almost 3, 1, 2, almost 3, almost 3, almost 3, and you're just gonna make sure it's as centered as it can be. Okay, then I'm gonna take my pencil and I'm gonna trace out. Pay attention to where your points are, but I'm gonna trace, maybe. Like I said, it'll be easier for you if you hang over, okay? But I'm trying to not do that because you don't need to see the top of my head. You need to see what I'm doing. So you're going to trace out all of your triangles, okay? And you're going to trace out all of your triangles. So that's what I have left. Now you can erase and use this later, but we're done with that right now. Okay? So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab my scissors or my snips and I'm going to go right on that pencil line and I'm going to cut out my triangles. The more exact you are, the better the template is. You can make this template out of cardstock. You can make it out of window sheet if you want. It's really up to you. The only problem with window sheet is it's hard to see. What is Joel? Oh my gosh. What in the world? Oh, he's telling me what's for dinner. My beans were not done in time for tacos, so he's in line for Santana's right now. So, gotta love him. Thank you, Joel. Okay, so you know what I'm having for dinner tonight. There you go. So the beans were not on because I cleaned the power strip because something had splashed on it above the kitchen island, and when I cleaned it, I evidently had turned the power surger off. So I went by 2 hours later and the beans were not hot at all. So I am like about 2 hours behind on my beans, which is why we don't have them. Okay. Yeah, some days are just like that. So you've cut out all your triangles. Here is your template. Awesome, right? So basically any square, it's got to be square though. Okay, and then you're going to measure up so your hole is directly in the center. Now you can do this with dies as long as they're squares. You can do it with dies or you can just do it how I just did. It's up to you, okay? If you do it with dies, you're going to do the original square and then you're going to pitch it onto the diamond side and you're just going to measure and then you're going to take a Post-it or some washi tape, tape it down so you can make sure it stays put and then run it through. It's up to you. So, but this one has a 3-inch hole and this is a 7-inch square. Why do I like this size? Because it's a good card front size, for one. For two, you're gonna laugh. I can usually find the template because it's big enough. It doesn't usually get lost. Usually. I say that loosely. So, that's the why. So, alright you guys. So that is how to make a square a circle. Thank you for sticking with. I hope you enjoyed. I hope you use the template and whatnot. And I hope you have a great night. Follow me, stampingwithjohnny.com. And go create. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.